Take a look at what I have here. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, brand new phone, and the sort of new Google Pixel Pro 8. High-end phones from both companies, and I'm taking them head to head. Check it before you wreck it. What's up, geeks? I'm Kirk. Good to have you guys here. And I want to show you two very awesome phones, the brand new S24 Ultra and the Google Pixel 8 Pro. I want to take these things side by side so you can see the similarities and the differences, and maybe you're thinking about buying one of them and trying to decide which one. So I'm going to compare them for you. Let's take it to the table and check them out. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Here they are, side by side. I want to give you an up-close look. If you're thinking about one of these two phones, I want to show you kind of what's similar and what's different. And first and foremost, we'll take a look at the back of the phone, and they are very different phones on the back. You've got the S24 Ultra with the 4 cameras on the back lined up top to bottom, and then a couple extra sensors and cameras over on the side there. And then the Google Pixel 8 Pro goes with a very different look. Now, there's 4 cameras on the S24 Ultra. There's only 3 on the Google Pixel 8 Pro. The most notable on the S24 Ultra is that 200 megapixel wide-angle camera lens. You don't have a 200 megapixel camera on the Google Pixel 8 Pro. Does that matter to you? I'd love to know. Throw that in the comments, because I'm not sure any of us need 200 megapixels, but it sure is an impressive spec when you think about it. Also, the Pixel 8 Pro is rounded. Notice the difference in the shape. You've got a rounded look on the Pixel 8 Pro, and you move over to the Ultra, it's very squared off. Now, rounded is definitely the look the iPhone is going for. I do feel like the Google Pixel 8 Pro is kind of a good in-between. It's not quite as rounded as the iPhone is, the newest iPhone 15 models, but it's definitely more rounded than the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Size-wise, they're very similar in size. You can see that on the back there, almost exactly the same size, in fact. Let's flip it around to the front here, and I want to take a look at the bezels around the screens. The iPhone bezel, the S24 bezels, the Pixel 8 Pro bezels, they are getting very minimal, guys. There is barely any bezel. I want to say the S24 might win this battle, but we're talking about splitting hairs here. These things look great. And again, the rounded corners of the Pixel 8 Pro, very similar to what we're seeing on the iPhone right now, and the squared off corners on the S24 Ultra. So if you like squared off, if you like that look, the Ultra, the S24 Ultra is the way to go. If you like rounded and you want Android, Pixel 8 Pro is the way to go. They both do that little pinhole camera, the hole in the top there, as opposed to the dynamic island that Apple has gone with on the newest iPhone, or the newer iPhones, I should say. In terms of screen size, like we said, the phones are almost the same size, and the screen size are very similar as well. And you're going to get somewhat similar screen technology. You know, you can dig into the details, the specs for more specifics on the screens themselves, but I can tell you anecdotally from using these phones, they both have awesome screens. They're bright, the colors pop, and they just work really well. Now let's take a look at the sides of the phones here. So we're taking a look at the left side of the Pixel 8 Pro and the left side of the S24 Ultra. And you notice the iPhone, I noticed the same thing. They all have those brakes in the same spots, and those are the antenna brakes. And so you're getting kind of the same concept for using the chassis of the phone as your antenna. Left-hand side, not much going on. There is another antenna brake on the bottom there. You do have a SIM card slot on the left-hand side of the Pixel 8 Pro. On the bottom, man, that is very similar looking, although the S24 Ultra has the SIM card slot on the bottom, but you've got the USB-C ports on both of them there. You've got one speaker on the S24 Ultra, 2 speakers on the bottom here of the Pixel 8 Pro. Of course, the S24 Ultra also has the S Pen that pops out from the bottom. You're not going to have that on the Pixel 8 Pro. On the right side of the phone, we're going to have a somewhat similar setup going on here. I mean, they're both running Android, so there is a little bit of an expectation as to what buttons they're going to have. And you can see you've got your volume up and down button here on the Pixel 8 Pro and your power button, and they are swapped on the S24 Ultra, but you have the same buttons. Volume up and down on the top on the S24 Ultra, and then power on the bottom. Now let's take a look at the top of the phone here. You can see in this case kind of how the S24 Ultra is slightly larger than the Pixel 8 Pro, and that, I think, this angle gives you the best idea of that. Let me go sideways here. It's a little bit wider and maybe a tad thicker. You know, they both feel good in the hand, but that definitely exemplifies the difference in size here. And you have a couple holes, looks like microphone holes there on the top of the S24 Ultra, little microphone hole up there on the top of the Pixel 8 Pro. And I want to show you one more thing. We're talking about the camera bump. So on the Pixel 8 Pro, you have this camera bump. I kind of like this design. They started this, I believe, with the Pixel 7, where it's one long bump that goes along the back of it. And why do I like this? The reason I like this is because when you put a case on it, the cases make it almost flush with the bump. It's almost as if this bump was specifically designed to work well with cases, because so many of us are going to use cases. The S24 Ultra, meantime, the camera bump here is different because you just have the cameras themselves protruding out, and you can see if I put it side by side, the Pixel 8 Pro bump feels bigger. I'm not sure if it actually is, but it feels bigger, whereas the S24 Ultra, they just bump out what they need to, what's necessary. I do feel the Pixel 8 Pro is more case friendly because it's designed for that, whereas I'm sure the S24 Ultra cases are going to be great, but I'm just saying this isn't necessarily designed the same way as the Pixel 8 Pro. What do you think? What do you prefer? Do you like the big long bump that the Pixel 8 Pro does, or do you like the individual bumps that the S24 Ultra? You get a titanium and aluminum finish and chassis, so the titanium chassis and some aluminum mixed in there on the S24 Ultra. I will say, I like the feel of both these phones, don't get me wrong, but I will say the S24 Ultra has a little bit of a higher end feel to it, simply because it's metal and you can feel the metal on the back of the phone, as opposed to a little bit more of a plasticky feel on the back of the Pixel 8 Pro. With that said, that doesn't mean that that's the better phone necessarily, and some people may prefer the plasticky feel. And at the end of the day, if you're going to put a case on it, I'm not sure how much all of that matters. But there you go, guys. That's your side-by-side. The Google Pixel 8 Pro against the brand new Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Hey, good to have you hanging with us here on Tech It Before You Wreck It. Let me know what you think. Are you buying one of these? Which one do you prefer? The Google Pixel 8 Pro or the S24 Ultra? And we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. I got a lot more cool videos coming, unboxings, tech reviews, how-tos, all kinds of cool stuff here on Tech It Before You Wreck It. I'm Kirk.